Now, we get to skip to my favorite part of the session, the opening cinematic. Jared Lowry pumped the bench press bar up and down at a near record-setting pace. With a loud grunt of frustration, he slammed the bar back onto the rack so that he could add even more weight. 260, 290, 310. Finally, at 390, he could actually feel the bar and made loud, exaggerated grunts with each repetition, getting his share of annoyed looks from the other gym patrons. Covered in sweat after 45 minutes of loud exercise, Jared made his way back to the locker room to get changed. Leather vest, cowboy boots, cowboy hat, topped off with a fancy leather belt and a bronze belt buckle. He was getting ready to leave when another man made his way into the locker room. "Hey man, good workout." "Thanks," Gerald said flatly. "Just real quick, sorry man. A couple of us were wondering if you could maybe tone it down a little." Jared stared down at the slightly bigger man, who then added, "It's just a little bit much, you know? A little disruptive, annoying. Yo, you hearing me, bro?" Jared's eyes flashed with anger as he grabbed the larger man's shirt and shoved him into the locker. "You got a problem with me, you little shit?" Jared slammed his fist deep into the locker right next to the man's head, bending the steel around his fist with the impact. The bones in Jared's fist snapped and broke through the skin at his knuckles, but he didn't seem to notice. The grotesque, blood-soaked fist, however, did, quite literally, scare the piss out of the other man, still being pinned to the wall. "You ain't shit, you understand?" This time, Jared's broken fist hit flesh and bone instead of steel. The broken and jagged knuckle bones cut deeply into the poor man's face, the impact crushing his nose and sending a spray of crimson blood all over the floors and walls. Jared kept punching over and over again until the front face of the gym member was leaking brain matter. Jared let out a loud, "Woo boy, yeah! That's what I'm talking about." Jared left the gym in a state of euphoria, happy as a pig in slop, and most of the skin hanging off of his fist. A few of the members inside followed him, curious and confused because he was leaving quite a trail of blood behind him. All of a sudden, outside, Gerald grabbed both hands to his head and arched over in pain. It was like needles were stabbing into his eyes. People crowded in to see what was the matter as Jared cried out in pain. One of the onlookers asked, "Dude, are you okay?" All Jared could do to respond was let out a loud bellow of pain. As the scream rose in pitch and intensity, Jared stood up straight, arched his back, and then after the briefest of pauses, his entire chest explosively burst open, covering the entire crowd in a spray of blood and viscera. Jared fell to the ground in a gory heap like a puppet whose strings had been cut. So the last session left off with them stopping a demon summoning in Racestown, with Eric Canton getting a nasty surprise from one of the demons as he was being questioned and tortured by them for information. While he was getting questioned and tortured, he got
We kept that demon.
You kept him. He's in your trunk.
He's still in the trunk of my 76 Continent.
He sent a picture. Eric Canton's mother, Tammy, had all of the fingers on one of her hand removed, and it was quite a gory picture.
Oh, and they were eaten.
And they were eaten.
According to his mother.
No sewing them back on. R.I.P. Tammy's fingers.
There was an image graphic too. It was horrifying, but I didn't see it.
But first, we're going to leave you guys to start right where you left off. To go fix Tammy, to pick up that shattered psyche of a woman. You guys are currently in Missouri. What do you do?
Keep driving to, what was it, Ohio? Kyle?
Yeah, seems legit.
You're from Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Your character? All right, well then I guess that's where we're going. I mean, if Tammy Canton lives somewhere other than his hometown, he needs to tell me because my character is driving to Ohio. I don't have a problem speeding in my car because I have all sorts of forged documents.
Yeah.
I'm good at, though if a cop does pull me over, I can probably talk my way out of it, and time is of the essence, so I'm not doing 120 down the freeway, but I'm doing 15, 20 over.
So you make record time.
That we Tokyo drift the entire way.
Not only, but without getting pulled over.
At all. No, two things I'll point out because since I got Natch 20, I'm going to take advantage of this. One, we do get pulled over once. Gerald Conway is just a quick scene of him just talking the cop off like any interest and just giving him a police escort to the edge of the state where they get to actually pick up some speed because it's an emergency. The second thing is you find out that it doesn't have its original engine in it. It's not quiet though.
The sawed-off muffler.
Yeah, right? Like, it makes up for the fact that, well, the dude's old. He's done a lot of driving. This car's got a lot of mileage, of course. The engine blew at some point, and rather than replace with an old engine from 76, he found a much more fuel-efficient way to take care of it and keep the look of 1976.
So you get there, and Kyle, your mother is... she's been sent home from the hospital because it does take you some time to get to Ohio. There's nothing that they can do because the fingers were missing. There was nothing to reattach, but they do stop the bleeding. They give her some painkillers and some antibiotics. She tells them that she had an accident with the garbage disposal. So your mom's in shambles. You get to the house, you knock on the door opens, and there she is crying. She rushes up to give you a hug, and she just dissolves into tears, clinging on to you, paying no attention to Gerald Conway.
Just ignore the late middle-aged white man. Nothing to hear.
I appreciate you called him late middle age.
I return the hug, let it linger for a moment, and
That is an old joke.
And then I walk her back into like the living room area, sit her down on the couch.
She's not saying a whole lot right now. She shows you her stump that's all wrapped up and kind of blood soaking through the bandages.
Yeah.
Eric, they took my fingers. What am I gonna do without my fingers? How am I gonna work? I'm gonna lose my job, Eric. What are you rolling,
Joel.
temperance?
I'm ignoring your existing system and just rolling something for. I rolled a 9 on 10. Gerald just offers her a business card. Actually, 2 business cards. One's for a prosthetic place because a lot of hunters lose limbs.
Wow.
So it's good to have hookups.
Okay.
And 2, a crooked disability lawyer.
Huh.
Roll a con game for me or networking, probably networking.
Those are contacts that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to roll is to see how well Tammy is adjusting to the fact that she may or may not need prosthetic fingers. They gotta give me a hook.
That'll be better than that.
I want a hook. It's not over the top. It's kind of like too soon.
So until he gives me a cue, Jared will just look at whatever's in the house. Like, I don't know, her son's awards or trophies or his dead dad's bowling trophy or something, whatever.
Eric, I'm gonna let you describe the house. Tell us what it's like. This is your part of the world.
Middle class. All the way.
Was your dad former military as a hunter?
No.
Ah, damn, no pension check.
Oh, you looking to settle down, Gerald?
Right, what the fuck is happening, bro?
You're making a
Keep
move?
your options open.
Do
Keep
we
your
need to have a
options open.
conversation as well?
This guy clearly needs a father figure.
I'm good on that. I got all the pops I needed. I got that on my system, thanks.
Wow.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
It's nice, but simple. 2 floors, 2.5 bath, 3 bedroom, regular old place. Sisters are doing it for themselves. No, there'd probably be some baby pictures and pictures of me when I was young, things like that. But
Important question. Any pictures of his dad? Because his dad, quote unquote, went out for smokes and never came back, and that's because he was a hunter. And he finally made peace with his dad with that, but his mother probably never did. Are there any pictures of his dad?
I actually was going to ask, did your mom know that your dad was a hunter, or did he keep that from her?
you didn't know.
I only ask because it's an outside shot, but maybe I don't know his dad, but I might know of his dad. Because he was a hunter, and I have huge networking, and I was hunting back then.
Well, hang on. I want you to check your pride a little bit there. The possible score for networking is 50 is a maximum.
Yeah.
You've got 13. Now, you're doing all right for a beginning character. You know some people.
Yeah, I will. Okay, Tom, your world, nickel and dime. How many hunters are still alive from when I started?
Just saying, you're doing great.
You're rocking your 13 hard.
Hey, Kyle's temple.
Was Aaron still talking about the con game?
Nope.
Not talking about my temples.
Like
He's watching TV, so all I see is Kyle's temple.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I mean, I don't know what's hidden in Kyle's temples.
I mean, that's
There's an entire mid-90s game show hidden in my temples.
Now, for I just want to make it that this is water. There is no consumption of alcohol taking place on this stream.
That's why I'm drinking this water in a strange shaped bottle. Oh God! Got this from Flint.
Oh, mine's straight from Mexico. Safer.
We are Michigan based. Woo.
So keep going, unless you were
But
finished.
roll my networking, I guess. Well, one, I need to know whether or not from Kyle there's even a picture of his father.
Natural 1.
Okay, nope. I don't know shit. Carry on.
Kyle's father, number 1, ran in different circles, and number 2 made a special effort to kind of stay out of the network. If you look at Eric's network, the apple really didn't fall too far from the tree. You don't know him, never met him. You're welcome to ask. Eric, your mom's in shambles. She's kind of looking at you for some direction. So what are you going to do? Tell her to get out of town, give her a hex bag, tell her to stay put. They only didn't kill her to fuck with you.
Mm-hmm. I pretty much, take her by the good hand.
Okay. No, she's comforted by that.
And then I'll pretty much look at the ground, and I'm just going to break the news to her. Ma, there's, as you discovered in the most awful way, there's a lot more to this world than you once believed. And you had to run in with some awful creatures. And for the last 3 or so years, I've been on the road hunting down such creatures. And that's actually... I ran into Pops again. He was actually on the road doing the same thing. I think that's why he left. He maybe didn't want the life to catch up with us.
What do you say? You do this all the time? What did you tell her you were doing, by the way?
College?
What about your classes? I thought you were studying to be a lawyer.
No. Looks like I was in a sort of trade school of sorts. Listen, Ma, I didn't mean to lie to you, but I didn't want to drag you into this. But you're killing me, Tom.
If I might, perhaps a drink would be in order. Like Joe just kind of like, and just sort of like reaches for his flask and takes a sip and just kind of...
Tammy would actually reach out for your flask if you're close enough.
No, she can have it.
She takes it, and number 1,
it's whiskey.
I was just saying,
it's
what's
straight
in it?
Whiskey. It's
She
just straight
drinks,
middle shelf whiskey.
She takes a long drink from it, enough to calm the nerves, and then some. She kind of does one of these to kind of give it back, but you could tell she might want to hang on to it.
I don't want to impose, but do you have any chips? I'll get some pretzels, and we'll sit down. We can answer all your questions. Okay, I go to the kitchen. I find something to snack on to offset what's going to be probably a straight booze fest in the next hour or so. Plus, I look and see if they have any alcohol, because my flask only carries so much. Bring them out and set up.
She has drank most of your flask, but there is some left to be poured out.
Like I said, that's why I was looking for booze as well.
Yeah, she's ignoring the food for the time. Mm-hmm. She's kind of she's in shock, and the booze was comfort.
Not for her, for me. Jesus, she drank all my whiskey.
Now you need to be comforted. You lost your fingers, but I just lost a fifth of whiskey.
If I fit a fifth, that's a really big flask.
A huge flask.
It doesn't even hold a pint.
Comically large flask.
That's fine. I go to my car. I have like 5 more flasks. I'm not worried about it.
Do you not have a bottle?
No, I'm pretty sure I keep at least a bottle of the good stuff. Half-gallon, middle shelf whiskey in half-gallon.
This is TV rules, so you've got whatever is reasonable, and you don't have whatever's not. If you say you've got a few flasks in the car, I'm not going to fault you for that.
I've got that. I've also got a bunch of shitty orange juice and a box of grits.
Yeah,
I think that's established.
She keeps focusing on the fact that you're not in college. Like, she's not doing it to be a dick.
No.
She is just so mentally scrambled. That is the one thing that she seems to have locked on to. Over the course of the next couple of hours, with the assistance of some alcohol and some practice at giving this speech, you're able to finally get her to a point where she is ready to listen to the words that you have to say.
She's okay that she lost her fingers now. She's still not okay with the fact that she thought you were the first of your family to go to a big name university.
Hey, listen.
Mortgage the house.
Don't bring your prejudices to my family. Like, she's fully capable of being a college graduate.
I'm pretty sure your character's mother is a college graduate. Yeah, I don't know why.
The Cantons are a long line of college successes. Ivy League, mind you.
Wow, you're such a disappointment, Eric.
Well, I could live with that, but not that other assumption that I was the first.
Yeah. And Gerald has a hard time shaking off the old ways.
Yeah, especially after that trip.
Eric, what do you do with your mom? What's your advice?
We can either do our best to secure and ward the house from any further invasions, or we can try to get her set up somewhere else. Either way, teach her some wards to keep her safe. And also, as soon as my stickers come in, she's gonna get a batch of those as well.
Okay.
So I'd pull you aside and say it'd be smarter to move her. They know where she's at. Not that they couldn't necessarily find her. We don't know what we're up against.
I don't know. What do you think I should do? I don't know about any of this. It makes sense.
I'm level with you, Eric. She's going to be dead by season 2.
Yeah, no doubt. I let her know that it was probably in her best interest to clear on out. We can get her set up somewhere else. We can still get her the funds from the crooked disability lawyer.
What happened to your college fund that I gave you?
Yeah. Killing monsters isn't necessarily cheap, but trust me, it went towards changing the world for the better, which is what most go to college to do in the first place. So I just got a head start on that.
She is kind of receptive to that, and pretty much everything that you're telling her, having to up and move her life, she's nodding her head. You know that the ramifications of it haven't fully sunken in yet.
Right. For now, I get the house warded up.
Okay.
The devil's traps, things like that, so no surprises in the middle of the night. And we got to find a place for her. Probably be best to set her up somewhere with semi-retired hunters who usually stay around their area.
That sounds like a networking role to me, so I'm going to roll for each of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I will even call in a few favors. This kid already actually saved my life and kept me alive once in recent memory, to be sure.
So you rolled a 17, plus your networking score of 13 makes 30, plus your situational modifier. Eric, you roll a 13, plus your networking score of 5. Gets you to 18. You make some phone calls. The circles you run in just aren't big enough for what you're looking for. You find a couple of guys who are more than willing to do their best to help out, but when you ask what they have to work with, you'd much rather, it's like a thank you but no thank you sort of thing. So their best intentions are just not good enough in this instance. So Gerald, you find a guy by the name of well, you don't know his real name, but he goes by the name of Reginald.
There's a reason we don't know his real name.
Yes, exactly. He's paranoid. He's got bunkers and hidey holes everywhere. There was a 1 in 10 chance he would even pick up his phone, or that you would even have a current phone number. You got lucky, and it just so happens that he owes somebody that you know a favor. So you had to play the telephone game of favors here. You called You called in that favor. And you owe him a favor, so you had to pay double favors for this one.
That's fine.
He's got a place in Idaho that is pretty much a safe house against these sorts of things, demons and the like.
Is there any way I can lay down a cover story? Well, I mean, generally it's hunter business. This is going to probably go forever, but in the event that we fix this particular problem and get her off the radar, she can return to her normal life. Is there any sort of document I can forge or come up with where she has to take a sabbatical from her job because she has needed skills somewhere?
If you come up with a story, you might be able to get something done with Eric, who has a much better tech use score than you.
Right. He's muted and everything's black, so...
Hey, that's racist.
I mean, that's an observation. A racist would be saying, Kyle, your cam is way too close to your face. Oh, there he is.
As far as keeping an active connection to her former life, that's no bueno. You either cut and run or you try and hang on.
Right, but to make it easier for her, I was saying, if we can forge something up where she has to be out of town for reasons that are not exactly explained, that'd be great. If not, fine, whatever.
Eric, do you want to go along with that? Because it's going to be your pony show. You've got the techies to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
If nothing else, forge something to her bosses that she's been requested somewhere, and she'd love to come back when it's done. Something respectable.
I can tie up those loose ends.
Okay, what's your cover story?
We have to decide what she's in. What is her career? And she's going to come back with no fingers. So, I was like marine biology, where there's a decent cover story.
Oh no, I hadn't thought that far into the character.
That's okay. Make up something on the spot. Build the world, my friends. Build it.
Resources.
Okay. What kind of resource?
I said human resources. So yes, human.
No, all we heard was resource.
Yes, it was a dastardly plot. Almost got away with it until you were confused. She got an offer to pursue her original goals of helping people. So she's full-time a sabbatical of sorts, moving from the private sector to the public, where she thinks she can do more good. She ran across an opportunity with a nonprofit, and she decided to pursue that for now. Hopes when that opportunity runs its course, we can return, blah, blah, blah.
That's enough to come up with some documents that would support what you say. It wouldn't pass a federal background check, but it should be good enough for her boss. You can arrange for that while she's being transported to the middle of Idaho.
Also, don't engage Reginald. He's nuts.
Yeah, you ready to meet, in a couple sessions, you're going to meet your new dad.
No, I'm not getting any new fathers, bro.
Not if Gerald Conway has anything to say about it.
None of you have anything to say about it.
How hot is his mom? No,
Eric, that's up to you.
Not at all. Nope.
Okay.
It's a miracle you were born.
Your
middle name is Jaeger.
Now I'm curious, Eric. I need a little bit more backstory. Is it the kind of like the train wreck of a face, but a more healthy body? Like not in terms of hot, but just in terms of like not morbidly obese, not going to be buried in a piano case, or is it the whole like hey Kool-Aid kind of thing going on?
Nope.
So when do we get to the monster of today's section? Or is that Eric's mom?
Oh, too soon. Over the course of the next couple of days, she is packed up with what she needs. You're able to secure her some transportation with a buddy who's heading out to Idaho to work a job. She gets a ride there, and she calls in about a day and a half after the trip is finished and lets you know that she has safely arrived with
Reginald,
that's right. Yep, Reginald. Gerald, you get a phone call.
Hello.
Gerald, it's Davey.
Hey, been a while. What's going on?
Yeah, I got a weird one here, and some guy exploded in Texas.
Exploded?
Yeah, like standing in front of a bunch of people, and his whole chest exploded. I think it might be our kind of thing.
Guess we'll check it out.
And he gives you the address. It's in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, because we're anywhere near there. All right, yeah, on our way. Hey, can you Western Union me like $50 for gas? You owe me. Poker.
Roll
4 years ago.
I'm gonna roll networking. Does he really owe you?
Maybe.
Either you're rolling networking or the con game.
Well, I don't know. Question: does this guy drink a lot?
Let me see.
That's up for you to decide.
He's a hunter. Everybody drinks a lot.
I'm gonna go with con game.
Okay. 20.
Modified?
Modified.
Ouch.
So 8
Don't roll higher.
plus 16.
Yes.
So he wins the roll. But I can roll
Maybe.
networking if you want to see if you can legitimately find somebody who owes you $50.
No, it's fine. I can hit it. I just wanted to see if I could run this guy for $50. But apparently I can't as a throwaway line. So instead I'll just save face by going, must have been the Jeremiah then. My mistake.
Yeah, it must have been.
We're on our
In
way.
fact, if I remember right, you might even owe me. Click. We don't need to hear the end of that sentence.
He was as much of a drunk as I thought. All right, Houston, a man blew up, apparently, chest burster style.
Anything come out?
Not that my contact said, so I guess not chest burster style, but I mean, he blew up from the chest.
We're talking alien without the payoff.
I'm guessing if there was explosive fragments, my contact wouldn't have called. Which means random exploding man.
Yeah.
Are you good for this?
Sure. I just hit a ram open.
Right on.
All right.
Okay, you guys, the drive to Houston is boring, long, and uneventful, filled with...
It's awkward to me because he has headphones in, probably.
Sure, why not?
No, I think the flavor text is I talked to him for about 20 minutes at some point before realizing he hasn't heard a word I've said because he has earbuds in, and I didn't see a cable, so I assumed he wasn't listening to music.
He's got the new iPhone.
No,
He's got the new iPhone. Does not?
No.
No.
He just says
He is
$500.
an Android man, through and through.
You make it to Houston. How do you approach this?
Crime scene, although I'm assuming by the time we get there it's already cleaned up, so...
It's outside the gym. It takes a couple days to get to Texas from Ohio. Unless you drive all night, take shifts at the wheel, or do you stay at hotels? Doesn't really matter for the purposes of this, but by the time you get there, it's either a day or 2 days.
Yeah, it takes 22 hours of straight driving to get from Michigan to Oklahoma. As an old man, I like to look at my character likes to look at the scene of the crime before confronting the cops, even if it's been cleaned up, because there's stuff that they don't know to clean.